The time for waiting is past. For far too long, your abilities have been underrated. Your strength was unrecognized until now. The vibe has changed. The air feels different, and you can tell. Something significant is about to happen. This is more than just ordinary night. This is an invitation to rise. An indication that the world is finally recognizing your inherent excellence. You were never intended to blend in. The murmurs of your brilliance are becoming echoes. They will soon become unmistakable roars. You are standing on the verge of something unstoppable, a power that has grown with each late night, every sacrifice, each minute. You decided to keep going when no one was watching. The chosen one. Be ready. 3 a.m. This symbolizes the beginning. The quiet of the earth will serve as your canvas. The calm of night. This is your stage. While others sleep, you ascend. While they are hesitant, you move. The time has here, and it is yours. Leave a comment. I stand because I refuse to fall. If you know it's your time. There are times when your presence begins to make a mark beyond your immediate grasp. In locations where decisions are made and futures are formed, your contributions are starting to reverberate. The transition is mild at first, a statement that haunts, and silent appreciation, an unexpected nod from those whose acknowledgement means much. Influence does not come with a dramatic announcement, but rather in the subtle ripples that spread before you see them. A legacy is not established in the spotlight. It manifests itself in the hidden areas where your devotion is evaluated, measured, and discussed. Every attempt is being documented, not just by people with whom you interact directly, but also by spectators who notice your consistent brilliance. The game is altered. You are no longer on the perimeter. You are being dragged into an evolving story that requires more than just skill, but also foresight and a strong sense of purpose. Every turning moment is formed by the flawless integration of preparation and opportunity. The acceptance that is emerging today is not by happenstance. It is the result of years of honing a skill, showing up, and outperforming expectations. The world does not value mere presence. It reacts to resilience, which is the capacity to stay unshaken in an environment that continuously challenges one's resolve. Visibility is transitory without consistent work, and impact requires a level of endurance that few are prepared to nurture. Being known is one thing. Another goal is to establish long-term relevance. The weight of acknowledgement comes not only with the honor of being heard, but also with the responsibility of determining what is said in your name. Those that create an impression are not those who just come into the spotlight, but those who understand how to use it. When attention becomes authority and acknowledgement becomes momentum, the moment of arrival might seem like an unanticipated change. A threshold must be passed before full realization may occur. The lengthy and exhausting trip that seemed like a solo effort suddenly becomes apparent to others, a reference in an unexpected location, a gesture of approbation from an unexpected individual. Suddenly, the previously undetected labor is being recognized as an inevitability rather than a surprise. What seems to be a quick climb is really the result of patience, layered over time, the slow accumulation of unrecognized wins that have ultimately collided into something obvious. Every additional effort, every minute of discipline, and every silent sacrifice has not gone unrewarded. What began as murmurs of development has now grown into an unmistakable force that cannot be ignored. Even in quiet times, each stride forward draws unseen eyes to it. The effect of effort quietly unfolds in areas beyond our grasp. Recognition does not occur in a straight line. It threads through invisible hardships, building to something obvious. When the initial wave of attention appears, it is not a final destination, but rather a departure into unknown land. However, visibility comes with a cost. The same light that illuminates also throws a shadow of examination. What was once the pursuit of perfection has become a delicate balance of sticking to values while adjusting to new challenges. True mastery is judged not by transitory recognition, but by the capacity to convert momentum into progress. There is an art to negotiating this transition, knowing when to accept recognition and when to walk away, honing the exact abilities that won it in the first place. The arrival of recognition does not signify a stop. It demonstrates that another degree of discipline is needed. Success is not something that happens at random. It's the result of a consistent rhythm, a series of decisions that accumulate over time. Precision, effort, and resilience drive the momentum cycle, rather than chance. Progress is not the consequence of a single defining event, but of several situations when consistency influenced the outcome. Each difficulty was a lesson that absorbed and polished each talent. Together, they create an unstoppable current. What seemed to be isolated successes suddenly come together, transforming individual moments into an unmistakable power. The route is not a mystery. It is organized on action, endurance, and timing. Action promotes preparation before the chance even arises. Endurance converts failures into stepping stones rather than dead ends. Timing, frequently confused with chance, is simply the ability to notice and grab an opportunity before it passes. Sustained brilliance requires more than just skill. It is the capacity to replicate, develop, and enhance achievement while maintaining momentum. Many people can do a task once. Maintaining that level, however, requires something deeper. The true problem is not achieving a peak, but ensuring that it is not the last. Pressure grows with development, and without careful management, stagnation or tiredness may set in. Avoiding these errors requires regular recalibration and an understanding that progress is never complete, always developing. Each achievement is both a milestone and a reminder. The work is underway. The chase is never fully finished. Do you observe a guy who is competent at his work? He will appear before kings. He will not appear before insignificant folks. Proverbs 2229. When preparation meets purpose, what was previously buried is brought to light. It's the moment when the sculptor sets down the chisel and the masterpiece is unveiled. The light that once burned in the darkness now shines brightly, blazing a road constructed with patience, discipline, and steadfast faith. This is not about luck or shortcuts. This is about embracing the wholeness of what was always intended for you. A winning streak is not a fluke. It is the heavenly combination of skill, determination, and a firm confidence that you were selected for greater. The world is full with voices competing for attention, all yelling and wanting to be noticed. Noise cannot convey actual impact. It is found in the weight of unmistakable superiority. Those who construct with purpose, those who develop their art quietly before the public notices do not just ascend. They rule, while others chase trends, groping for significance like sand passing through their fingers. You are being shaped into something unshakable. Influence isn't created. It is farmed. The deep roots of a giant oak remain solid while the winds of change bend the smaller trees. The world does not reward those who imitate. It honors those who build. Those who build their foundations on stolen ideas will see their homes disintegrate. But those who work in the unknown, who believe in the vision placed in their hearts, will pass through doors that no man can close. You were never intended to follow the crowd. Your path is unique to you, designed by an invisible hand that summoned you before you realized you had the power. The route was always there, waiting, not for the timid or faint of heart, but for those who dare to take a step forward and claim what is rightfully theirs. Now is not the time to slow down. This is not the time to pull back. Every triumph before to this one served as a foundation rather than a summit. Every step you took, every sacrifice you made, was preparing you for a higher ascension. The doors that seemed closed are creaking open, and the key was never possessed by anybody else. It was always in your hands. You will not be ignored. Your efforts will not go unnoticed. When you walk in accordance with your mission, there is no need to look for affirmation because the appropriate eyes and hearts will see and understand. The world does not honor those who just try. It crowns the masters, those that persevere, those who refuse to quit. When the route becomes steeper, you're not here by chance. You are here because fate is called, because the mission requires it, because it is now. And when the time strikes, the selected rise. Leave a comment. I am entering my season. If you understand that what comes next will be bigger than what has come before, rising above is not without opposition. Success breeds uncertainty, criticism, and, at times, anger. The instant you stand out, forces will strive to draw you back into the usual. However, those who depend on imitation fade soon, and those who build depth stay unaffected. The most powerful asset is not the approval of others. It's the capacity to retain unbroken attention in an environment geared to distract. While many buckle under the weight of expectation, individuals who refuse to be defined by external noise have a long-lasting effect. The discipline to filter out irrelevant information, reject the temptation of comparison, and operate with a persistent devotion to mastery is the key to keeping momentum. Influence is not created in times of visibility. It is built via constancy of execution. Over time, the effort done in quiet, the integrity maintained when no one is looking, and the reluctance to compromise on perfection are what provide an unshakable presence. You're not here by chance. If you sense a tug, a deep feeling that you have been selected, now is your time. Click the Super Thank You button and contribute $50 or more to get deeper insights, unique information, and a path that fits with your divine destiny. This is not only a gift, it's a proclamation, a step toward being the person you were intended to be. Take the call, walk with us, and totally embrace your destiny. Your adventure starts now. The proper recognition at the right time may be a watershed moment, altering the course of an entire route in an instant. A single talk in the appropriate venue, a suggestion from someone whose word has value. These events are often the sparks that drive a person from the periphery to the center of opportunity. However, acknowledgement alone is not sufficient. What happens next decides everything. Being noticed and being ready are not the same thing. Those who flourish in situations of vulnerability do not depend only on the approval of others. They take a stride forward, certain that they have created something meaningful. An opportunity's effect does not begin and end with its appearance. It's in how it's seized. Whether it becomes a footnote or a defining chapter is decided by the readiness, flexibility, and command shown in the moment. Influence is not about becoming recognized. It's about demonstrating again and again why that attention was justified. Recognition alone is never sufficient. It must be used with purpose, honed with action, and maintained with intention. The illusion of success often leads to stagnation, with many mistaking fleeting recognition for long-term effect. However, visibility without substance diminishes soon. Influence is more than just being recognized. It is about turning attention into genuine progress. It takes discipline to get beyond the first breakthrough, the capacity to manage changing terrain, and the courage to defy expectations. Those who strike a balance between confidence and self-awareness bear the weight of true accomplishment. Ambition with humility. True power is derived not from external validation, but from the capacity to consistently provide achievements that reaffirm one's value. Belief in one's skills is necessary. However, unbridled hubris undermines even the strongest foundations, since the genuine architect of influence does not attempt to prove others wrong, but rather devotes every day to proving themselves correct by tireless execution and refinement. There comes a point when differentiation is no longer an abstract concept. It becomes obvious. That uncommon change in which the significance of one's labor is fully recognized, where a formerly faraway vista is now within grasp. This moment, although exciting, is not an invitation to relax. It is a call to elevate. Standing out from the crowd is not a passive asset. It is a struggle to overcome prior restrictions and create new standards not just for oneself, but also for those who follow. This is where the line between the transitory and the timeless is drawn. Those who achieve success do not only want recognition, they expound on it, extending its bounds and leveraging them as leverage for something bigger. It's not about crossing the finish line. It is about completely redrawing the map, creating a new standard when none existed before. Nobody ascends alone. Every great attempt is strengthened by the presence of individuals who question, inspire, and open doors. Success is not a single victory. It is a collaborative endeavor in which the appropriate partnerships enhance strengths and drive progress. Individuals who excel in any field recognize that, although their work speaks for them, their presence in the proper rooms affects how loudly it is heard. Influence is not derived from the quantity of people one knows. It stems from being recognized in the right places by the right brains. However, real value connections are not transactional in nature. They are built on trust, consistency, and a real desire to contribute. The art of presence is delicate. Too little, and one becomes invisible. Too much, and the importance is diminished. The key to mastering influence is not self-promotion, but rather positioning, being where it counts, interacting with purpose, and enabling outcomes to speak louder than words. This is how recognition develops into something more. Ensure that one's presence has an influence even after they leave the room. Much is expected of those who receive much. Luke 12:48. A tree that aspires toward the skies must have deep roots in the soil. The firmer the foundation, the larger the height it can support. But make no mistake, every inch of elevation adds weight. The higher a building rises, the more winds it must withstand. And as you go to the next level, you don't just climb. You carry. You have the obligation for those who look to you, the expectations of people who believe in you, as well as the scrutiny of others who are watching to see whether you will fail. This is when the real test starts. Success is more than simply reaching the top. It is about maintaining your stance without cracking under pressure. Some will congratulate your accomplishment, others will disbelieve it, and some may look for flaws in the foundation. That's why the strength of your partnership is important. When the storms come, as they will, the acclaim will not keep you standing. They will remind you of why you began, who holds you responsible to your mission, who pushes you to keep rising. When you feel the weight pushing down, elevation is not by coincidence. An influence isn't a reward. It's a tool. When employed with wisdom, it creates routes where none previously existed. It creates opportunities not just for you, but also for others who will follow. You are not asked to climb for your own sake. Your accomplishment serves as a bridge, an entrance point into something larger than individual achievement. The world often confuses talent for fate, but the fact is that brilliance is seldom enough. Favors are squandered if they are not prepared. Opportunity is lost if you are not prepared. Those who reach the peak of any activity do not do so by luck. They are formed in the quiet hours, when no one is looking. They are formed in the waiting, polished in the battle, and reinforced in the times when giving up seemed preferable than going on. The door will eventually swing open. That moment is not arbitrary. It is the result of every choice, sacrifice, and unwavering faith. However, getting through the door is not the ultimate win. This is simply the beginning. What counts is not simply access, but also the effect. Will you enter and just take up space? Will you step through, shift the mood, and leave an indelible mark? This is the season for the prepared to ascend. This is the time when those who have been purifying in the darkness will emerge into the light. And when the weight of duty rests on your shoulders, you will not back down. You will stand higher, walk braver, and move with the knowledge that you were never intended to remain where you are. Leave a comment. I am progressing to the next level. If you know you were meant for more. Those who remain prepared never scurry. When the time comes, they go ahead with ease, as if it had been written a long time ago. When forward motion is started, the force takes on a life of its own. A single, decisive action, a well-placed introduction, or a breakthrough performance might start a chain reaction of events that grow in inconceivable ways, compounding development. A reputation for constancy invites previously shut doors, turning effort into motion that has its own inertia. But keeping the beat requires awareness and agility. Stagnation is the quiet opponent. If expansion persists, the chain reaction diminishes, and the wave of opportunity recedes. Staying in motion, honing, executing, and pushing yourself beyond your comfort zones. Ensure that momentum continues to increase even during moments of stillness. Patience must be used with precision. The heights of achievement are seldom consistent, and intervals of quiet often precede the following ascent. Those who persevere do not sit idle. They stay prepared, sharpening their edge so that when the next chance arises, they are not caught off guard but are already prepared to capitalize on it. Progress is not a result of luck. It takes discipline to see the opportunity and boldness to grasp it without hesitation. Enduring success does not include a single peak. It's about mastering the rhythm of steady advancement. Those who genuinely understand momentum see that triumph is characterized not by a single breakthrough, but by the capacity to build on it. The greater problem of producing anything that lasts beyond the present is establishing a presence that endures time. Talent is not the only factor that determines longevity and success. It's the product of unshakable discipline, the ability to reinvent oneself, and a dedication to values that are unaffected by external influences. Many people reach a high point, but few can go on without losing sight of their goals. The impulse to seek short-term affirmation in order to stay relevant at any costs often leads to mistakes. However, individuals who leave an imprint recognize that genuine importance is not found in fleeting recognition. It is founded on the principles of impact, resilience, and substance. Real impact is seldom the result of a single achievement. It is developed by a consistent pattern of significant contributions that go beyond personal accomplishment. Those who resist the impulse to seek recognition and instead concentrate on depth, refinement, and legacy are the ones that revolutionize their industry and inspire future generations. Their work is driven not by trends, but by the value it adds, the standard it establishes, and the inspiration it leaves behind. The distinction between transient recognition and unwavering presence is a philosophy that emphasizes development over stasis. The purpose is to outperform the great success that now exists. The test of time never stands alone. It serves as a catalyst for others, opening doors, establishing precedents, and changing the landscape for those who follow. The true measure of success is not remaining at the top, but rather leveraging that position to inspire, empower, and alter what is possible. The greatest among you will be your servant. Matthew 4:23 verse 11. A lighthouse doesn't pursue ships. It remains steady, shining its light so that others might see through the storm. True, leadership is not about rising above others. It is about advocating for something bigger than oneself. When you gain influence, it becomes less about personal triumphs. It becomes about the effect. This is about legacy, about uplifting people. As you ascend, anyone may claim authority, but few can use it wisely. Power alone does not constitute a leader. Purpose does. Success will open doors, but leadership decides what happens after you get through them. Many people want influence for the purpose of being visible. However, visibility without solidity is like a light in the wind, bright for a moment, then quickly extinguished. Those who create legacies recognize that influence is not a prize to be exhibited. It is a duty that must be carried. A title is meaningless unless it is utilized to serve, elevate, or build something that lasts beyond the present time. A leader is assessed not by the number of followers, but by the number of people empowered by them. Leadership isn't about dominating the room. It is about changing the atmosphere, planting seeds of change, and creating a standard that will endure long after you are gone. When used with forethought, influence affects the future as well as the present. It shapes the future. But make no mistake, there is some pressure associated with elevation. The higher you go, the heavier the weight. Eyes will be watching. Expectations will rise, and the task will be to keep climbing rather than just reaching the summit. Some will congratulate your success. Others will dispute it, and some will wait for you to stumble. This is when character is tested, and the temptation to choose affirmation over vision becomes a fork in the road. Those that lead effectively do not move for applause. They move with purpose. True leaders do not get lost in the spotlight. They remain steadfast in the basis that led them there. They recognize that leadership is about serving others rather than gaining prestige. The measure of greatness is not how high one rises, but how profoundly one influences others around them. Influence created on ego dissolves under strain, but influence established on purpose withstands any storm. This is when the transition from accomplishment to legacy starts. This is when individuals who are only seeking success diverge from those who are designed for something better. Step ahead. Influence may be either brief or long-lasting. The distinction is in how it is conveyed. Leave a comment. I lead with purpose. If you know your effect will last beyond the present. Reaching the top is not the end of the climb. It opens the door to even larger difficulties. The recognition that was previously coveted has become a reality. However, with notoriety comes the need for consistency, reinvention, and the capacity to consistently surpass expectations. Standing stationary isn't an option. Growth is the only way ahead. Sustained achievement is not based on chance or raw talent. It is about flexibility, perseverance, and an unwavering dedication to improvement. The progress gained so far is only the beginning. The following step bears the weight of every previous choice, influencing the course of what follows. Momentum, once started, is a powerful force in its own right, but it must be fed by determined activity and a refusal to accept complacency. The whispers of possibility have matured into a defining moment, whether it is a momentary awareness or the start of something bigger. Everything depends on what happens next. The issue is no longer whether success is achievable. The question is whether the next move will be made with the power and clarity necessary to leave a lasting legacy.